Okay, let's talk about inflation today, all right? What's inflation? Let me explain it to you like a baby. So, inflation starts, I have this here so that I can be putting my thoughts down. Inflation starts when you put your money in the bank. Money in the bank. That's where inflation starts. You're not doing wrong. You're supposed to put your money in the bank. So don't start thinking something. So inflation starts when you put your money in the bank. All right. The problem here is that this money that you're putting in the bank is seeing this money as what? What is the bank seeing this money? As a liability. The bank is seeing this money as a liability. Because if you put your money in the bank, if you wake up in the midnight and check your bank app, your money should be there. If you wake up in the morning and you want to buy something and you did transfer for somebody and you don't see any money there, what will you do? You call your bank now, or some people don't even prefer to call, they just rush and go to the branch so that they will challenge anything that's happening there. So the bank, this money that you're giving to them, it's a liability to them because they have to pay you back no matter what. Like, you don't really care. What you want is, okay, I put this money in the bank. Anytime I want it, let me come and carry it. So it's a liability to them. Now, as a business institution, they're not just going to carry your money and go and bury it like that guy in the Bible that took his master's talent and went and buried it. No. Rather, they are thinking, okay, how can we turn this money this guy gave us into what? An asset, which is, how can this money make money for us, which is the bank. So that's your money now. They take this money that you give to them and they look for people, all right? What kind of people are they looking for? People that have systems that are already proven to make money. All right, that's where real estate comes in. That's where businesses comes in. So they take this money. Let's say you put 40 million in the bank. You may have, you may not. But let's say you put 40 million in the bank. And when you put your 40 million in the bank, your bank, this money can buy a house. So you put your 40 million in the bank, 40 million. And this money can buy what? A house. Now the bank is owing you 40 million, which is equivalent to a house. All right? A house. Now the bank is thinking, how can we make money with this money? Because anytime this guy wants this money, we have to give him back his money. But we are not going to carry it and keep. All right? Because other people are also putting money there. So the bank, now they are owing you 40 million. But as a business institution, what does a business do? What's the purpose of a business? The purpose of a business is to make sure that it is making money. It's not like it is making money. The purpose of a business is to make sure that it is making as much money as what? Possible. All right? The purpose of a business is to be making sure that it is making as much money as possible. That's why companies like Dangote, Apple exist. They are selling their products. They are making their products better. They are trying to help people with it so that they can make as much money as possible with it on this business. So your 40 million, the banks are owing you 40 million, which is equal to a house. And now their point of existing is to make sure that they will use this 40 million and make as much money as possible. So what's the easiest way to do that? That is where inflation comes in. All right? That is where inflation comes in. Now, imagine that you people are three that gave the bank 40 million that could what? That could buy houses. that could buy houses. You guys are 3 that gave the bank 40 million that could buy houses. Now, the bank is owing you 120 million. All right? Now, and they are thinking, how can we use this money to make as much money as possible? And the normal way that the bank used to make their money is to give it to people who already have existing systems and businesses. All right? They give it to people who already have existing systems and businesses so that the people will pay interest on that money, which the bank will use as their own profit. All right? That interest the people are paying is not the money the bank gives to you. No. The interest that they are paying is profit to their own bank. So how does the bank pay you your own money? That is where inflation comes in. So they say, okay, let's print more money. Let's print what? More money. All right? Let's print more money. That's inflation. The bank prints money. Now, when they print more money, what does it do? It drives up the prices of things in the market. All right? So your 40 million now that was equal to a house can now be used to buy a car. Can now, because the price of a house goes up to 100 million because of inflation, because of the extra money they printed. Now, your money, and okay, let me explain to you. When they print that money, what happens? Imagine you are in a house, or there is one bottle water in the fridge in a house where you and somebody is staying, and that bottle water is 100 naira, and the person who is close to you, the person who you and that person is staying in the house, that person, that your neighbor in that house, has more money than you do, or you have more money than the person now, and you are both feeling thirsty. You want to drink that water, and you both came there, and the person who has the water is telling you that that water is 100 naira, and now you are richer than the person you are with. So what would you do? What you would easily do is to tell the person you have who has the water that instead of 100 naira, that you will buy it for 300 naira. That's what inflation. They have printed more money. So more money have more money than some people have more money than other people now. So that water that you guys are bargaining for 100 naira, somebody is now offering 300 naira to buy it because he has more money. Okay, that is exactly what happens, how inflation drives up the prices of goods. So your 40 million now, which could have gotten you a house that you put in the bank, can no longer buy you a house. It can only buy you a car. All right? Maybe a Mercedes, you buy Mercedes. You can only buy a car now. It can no longer buy you a house. So that's your 40 million. And let's say the car is 40 million now. And the house is 100 million because of inflation. All right? So the three of you guys who put your monies in the bank, your money or monies, I don't know, who put your money in the bank had 120 million, which could have gotten 3 houses. But now you only have 120 million, which can only get you 3 cars or a house, and it can't get you a house and a car because a house is 100 million already, and you are not going to share a house with somebody, so it can only get you cars now. All right, so what the bank did with inflation there is that money that they were owing you before, 40 million, that you could have used to get a house, is now only worth a car, which is 40 million. So they take that money, 120 million, 100 million from the 120 million, and give it to somebody who wants to build a house, a real estate mogul, a business system person, somebody who runs a business, who does business with them. They give it to the person, and the person now starts paying interest on that money at the current inflation rate. At the current inflation rate. So the bank now, that liability that they had with you is no longer existing, because now instead of owing you 100 million, which could have been equal to the 40 million you had before, because that is the money you can use to buy a house, they are now owing you money for a car and not a house because of inflation. So imagine that, okay, when you put that your money in the bank as savings, a car was 10 million. So this your 40 million is equal to 10 million now because of inflation. So instead of owing you 320 million, because you guys put 40 million, the bank is now owing you an equivalent of what? 30 million, because your money can only buy a car. So already on your savings, they have made a profit with inflation of how much? 90 million. And how much did they borrow the businessman for him to do business with? 100 million. So that money that you put into the bank, because of inflation, has become 100% their money. So you yourself are left with basically nothing. You have lost money. So how do you tackle this thing? Because that's the way the world works. You can't fight it. It's just the way things. What you have to do is to find a way to make a large amount of money in a short period of time. And the best way, but only few people have the mind to do it, is to do business with the bank, so that money that they are giving to business owners, to real estate moguls, all these people, you are those real estate moguls, business owners that they are giving that money to, so that you can be paying them interest on that money. So anytime the bank drives up something with inflation, you yourself will be winning, and they themselves will be winning. And who will be losing? The ones who are saving money without doing any business at all. That money is just sitting there without bringing in any cash flow. So that is how inflation eats up your money in the bank. If you found this video helpful, informative, just like, comment, whatever.